Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Ivy Bites, a series of bite-sized analysis I created for my students to boost their English scores. And whether you're a student or a teacher, you are most welcome to join and learn with us. Today's focus is on how to organize your Paper 2 essay using the block method, the alternating method, and the integrated method. By the end of the vlog, I will persuade you that you'll want to use the integrated method and steer clear of the block method. Let's begin. But first, let's start with the Paper 2 FAQs. In Paper 2, it's a 1 hour and 45-minute comparative essay. You compare and/or contrast two texts you've studied in class and that you haven't used for other assessments like your IO or HLE. Today, I'm purposely using two commonly overused texts, The Great Gatsby and A Doll's House, solely because many IB students out there know them well. The Paper 2 essay is made up of three parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. It's roughly 4 to 5 or more pages, depending on your handwriting. The guide lists it at 1,000 to 1,500 words. The intro and conclusion should be brief. Because of time constraints, you'll want to spend most of the time developing the body of your essay. The introduction states the texts. Remember, you need to state the author, the title of the work, and the literary text type. For example, is it a novel, short stories, drama, and so on. Then each author's approach to the essay prompt is given. Today's essay prompt is on how is Ibsen's A Doll's House and Murakami's After the Quake present the theme of illusion. For each authorial approach, you'll definitely want to strengthen the analytical depth of the comparison by mentioning the context. For example, Haruki Murakami writes, after the quake, in the aftermath of the 1995 Kobe earthquake, drawing on Japan's social anxiety, emotional dislocation, and changing cultural landscape. For Ibsen's A Doll's House, the context reads, Heinrich Ibsen writes A Doll's House in 1879, drawing on the strict gender roles, middle-class respectability, and growing debates about women's rights in 19th century Norway. Lastly, that introduction needs to state how the author's approaches are similar and/or different. The conclusion is just as brief. You'll want to restate each author's approach. You'll want to summarize their similarities and/or differences. And you want to end with a final thought about why the texts matter or why it leaves the reader thinking. But you have to connect it to the essay prompt, which here is illusion. Let's take a look now at the body of a Paper 2 essay and how it can be structured. So Paper 2 essays should have at least 3 key ideas. Key ideas are your main arguments. Some people know them as claims. It's the central ideas you're going to develop in the essay. You need at least 3 of them. Your key ideas are based on broader authorial choices, such as structure, perspective, characterization, and more. For example, key idea 1 might be about structure. Key idea 2 might be about characterization, and key idea 3 might be about themes. So you would compare and/or contrast each of your texts, first on structure, then on character, and then on theme. But there's way more to broader authorial choices than meets the eye. Each choice includes a wide range of features that vary depending on the literary text type, as you can see here. For example, if one of your texts is a novel and the other is a play, you'd be comparing how their different structures convey meaning. Your novel might have a linear structure, whereas your play might have a classical 3-act structure. Each of these authorial choices is what you compare in your Paper 2 essay. Now, you can find a free copy of this table on my website at leadacademicshongkong.com. All right, let's now look at how to organize the key ideas. There are 3 ways to do this: the block method, the alternating method, and the integrated method. Okay, in the block method, the key idea is developed across 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph analyzes text 1's approach, the second analyzes text 2's approach, and the third compares the 2 approaches. If you choose the block method, you need to write 9 body paragraphs, 3 paragraphs for each key idea. This is the main drawback of the block method. Students often run out of time, and your wrists and fingers are a little sore from writing. Here's an example of the block method, 3 paragraphs. The first focuses only on text 1, The Great Gatsby. The second paragraph focuses on text 2, A Doll's House. And the third paragraph compares both works. It's important to remember that each paragraph must clearly state the exam focus. All 3 paragraphs need to state illusion, illusion, illusion. And this is for the Gatsby for text 1 and for for A Doll's House text 2, and also for that third paragraph, the comparison paragraph. Also, each of those 3 paragraphs must clearly state the key idea. Here it's the protagonist. This is the key idea. So for The Great Gatsby, the focus is on Gatsby himself, and for A Doll's House, the focus is on Nora. And in the third paragraph, the comparison paragraph, both of these ideas are discussed. Now, each paragraph must provide supporting points. Here, there are 3 points for each text. These points are then compared in the third paragraph. Here's the third paragraph. Looks like a body paragraph, but it's not. It's comparing those 3 points. Some are compared sentence by sentence, as you can see here. This is also called the alternating method. Some of the points are compared within the same sentence, as you can see here, and this is called the integrated method. So you can see, even though the block method appears easier, in the end, this method ultimately requires you to shift into the alternating and/or integrated method in comparing the texts. Before we look at the point-by-point methods, please take a moment to share this video with someone who you think might benefit from it. Together we can make a difference for those who are struggling. And there are many who are struggling. Both the alternating and integrated methods compare each point within the same paragraph. You can see that here. So point 1, the blue text represents The Great Gatsby, and the green represents A Doll's House. So point 1 is discussed, then point 2, then point 3 within the same paragraph. And for the alternating method, we would have 2 sentences for the first point, 2 sentences for the second, and 2 sentences for the third. If it were the integrated method, you would only have 3 sentences. For point 1, there would be 1 sentence. For point 2, another sentence, and point 3. You can see why teachers recommend the integrated method. It saves you time and energy. All right. Whereas the alternating method does compare each point in separate sentences, the integrated method does compare each point within the same sentence. Let's take a look. In the alternating method, each point is compared in a separate sentence. We see that here with the alternating blue for The Great Gatsby and the green for A Doll's House. For example, the first sentence about Jay Gatsby here, his relentless pursuit of Daisy, is compared with the second sentence about Nora's clinging to her beliefs about marriage. So this here would be an alternating structure. In the next sentence, however, the comparison happens within the same sentence. The first part of the sentence is about Gatsby's dream, and the second part of the sentence is about Nora's illusion. This is the integrated method. In comparing both methods, the block method is easier to think through, but it's risky for timing. That's why many teachers, again, recommend the alternating method. It has short blocks with mini comparisons inside them, so the comparison isn't left out at the end. Before we go, I'd like to show you how easy it is to use your planning to make your essay integrated using point-by-point planning. First, state your key idea. Here, it's how each protagonist reveals the theme of illusion. Second, point out how each protagonist reveals the theme of illusion. Next, provide the evidence that represents each character's illusion. And lastly, explain what each character's illusion reveals about the text treatment of the key idea. Now, all you have to do is simply add a few comparison markers like while, just as, and whereas. And there you have it, the integrated method. As difficult as it seems, it's simply all in the planning. Plan accordingly, and you're less likely to run out of time in the paper 2 exam. So here's an example of a fully integrated paragraph. Note the variety of comparison markers, both, yet, while, just as, however, whereas. And there's even verbs like mirrors and parallels. To sum up, these 3 methods. The block compares text by text, whereas the alternating and integrated methods compare point by point. The difference between the two is that the difference between the alternating and integrated methods is that the alternating method compares across sentences. You're going to have 2 sentences, whereas the integrated method, it compares within the same sentence. So there's 1 sentence, so there's a reduction. The integrated method is more economical, but the alternating method is just as respectable. All right. Remember to check out the blog and vlog sections of my website at leadacademicshongkong.com for free resources. Thank you for watching and happy analyzing.